like to say?
Yes.
Hare Krishna. So before I speak on spiritual subject matters, I need empowerment. Therefore, I pray first to my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnana Timandasya Shanam Salakaya Chakshunritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Svamu Bhagadamayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Vandeham Shio Shiyuda Padkamanam Shiom Vaishnavam Sham Shirupam Jagajatam Sagan Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sapadutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pradam Sakanalita Shri Shankam Vitansha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Chatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Karana Panchamasthi Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamama Haripriya Pankha Kalpa Vishake Prasan Vivsha Padnam Panvyo Vaishnavyo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Can I take a minute?
Just a moment. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine, Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravan Vacharani, Nirvishesa Srinyavadi Paskachaya Jasatan. Srila Prabhupada ki. You need the mic?
No. So his name is His Holiness Bhakti Prabhu Maharaj. Maharaj is from Belgium. He's practicing Krishna consciousness in 1990. So that's like 35 years. Maharaj is in Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, and then Bhakti Vedanta. All the courses. Maharaj also teaches in Vrindavan Institute, Mayapur Institute. And Maharaj was mentioning, like, after Karama Kanana Maharaj, he departed back. And then Maharaj asked Bhakti Prabhu Maharaj to take care of the devotees, because Maharaj is the only sannyasi who speaks Dutch language. Maharaj speaks many languages, Dutch, France.
Don't worry about it.
So this is Maharaj. Maharaj comes. Maybe this is his second time coming to US. Right, Maharaj? Last year and this year.
No, I've come 20 times already.
Oh.
But this year it's my second time.
Is your second? Oh, this year is your second.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This year is Maharaj's second time. This is his first time coming to Detroit, Michigan, India.
Yeah, I came already in 2004 for meetings, New Vrindavan. Anyway.
Maharaj is also part of GBC and Sannyas Ministry. That's what I little bit know about. Apart from 100,000 things that I'm not aware. So let's welcome His Holiness Bhakti Prabhu Maharaj.
So this evening I would like to speak about the holy name. Yeah, you know about the holy name?
Trying to.
Trying to. That where is the holy name coming from? Oh, Goloka Premadana. Narottam Das Thakur. Come from Golok. That in Golok they are chanting Krishna's names. During the Rasa dance, Krishna disappeared with a certain gopi. That because during the rasa dance, all the gopis became a little proud. Some pride came into the heart. They were thinking themselves the most fortunate women in the universe. And then Krishna disappeared, and then they became mad, started to speak to the plants, to the deer. They were so absorbed in Krishna that they started to imitate Krishna in so many ways. But then, anyway, there's a whole story in Krishna book. I'm not going into that. But Krishna disappeared. But they wanted Krishna again to appear. What did they do? They started kirtan. And the kirtan made Krishna reappear. Also, Mother Yasoda, when she was churning butter, she was chanting Krishna's names and Krishna's pastimes, poetry about Krishna's pastimes. And everyone speaks about Krishna in Vrindavan. How many times do they mention the name of Krishna? So that's where the holy name comes from. But how did the holy name come here in this universe and on this planet Earth? How was it transported from Goloka Dham to this world? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought it. Krishna himself. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, surrender unto me at the end of Bhagavad Gita. You know that verse? Yeah? So, surrender unto me. Yes. But Krishna knew in Kali Yuga, no one surrenders to anyone. So Krishna decided to come again in Kali Yuga to show us how to become a devotee of Krishna. He came as Bhakta Rupa in the form of his own devotee to propagate the chanting of the holy name. It's in the scriptures, the holy name is non-different from Krishna. Interesting. So yes, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. Lord Chaitanya is not an incarnation of Krishna. It's Krishna himself who appears in the form of his own devotee with his associates. So he started the Sankirtan movement 500 years ago. And how did it begin? How did the Sankirtan movement come to us? It's mentioned in the life of Lord Chaitanya is explained in 11 biographies. 11. And the most complete is Chaitanya Charitamrita, which was compiled the last. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. But then we have also Chaitanya Bhagavat from Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. But you have also Chaitanya Mangal from Lochan Das Thakur. And there it's mentioned that Lord Chaitanya has said, in the future, I will send my Senapati Bhakta, expert field commander, and he will spread the holy name all over the world. That Interesting. Who spreads the holy name all over the world? Srila Prabhupada in 11 years. So he brought it to us. Now, it comes from Golok, right?
Yes.
It comes to the earth, to us. And what's happened if we are chanting the holy name properly? What's going to happen?
Go back.
It brings us back to Golok. That's the point. That's the power of the holy name. But the power of the holy name will only manifest to someone who has an appropriate inner attitude. And what is that appropriate inner attitude? Krishna says, Sarvam Pachya Mangam Sram Pacham Tvam Sarvapabhyam Ukshishima. Surrender unto me, Krishna says. But what is that mood of surrender? We come a little later to that. But that mood of surrender. I'm a disciple of Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and his disappearance has shocked me very much. That brought me to Geeland in Florida to help the devotees, because it was his project. But Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he joined practically at the end of 1976, met Prabhupada in January 1977. And during his last months that Prabhupada was with us, Bhakti Charu Maharaj was his personal servant. And one night, Srila Prabhupada told him about surrender. He said there are two kinds of surrender, two kinds, negative and positive surrender. The negative surrender is you are in jail and you think that the goal is to get out of jail. And with whatever means, digging a tunnel, scaling over the wall, but I will get out of the prison. That's the goal. If he gets out of the prison, is he free? No, why not?
Police will be after him.
The police will get him. That's negative liberation. Prabhupada said that's the liberation of the impersonalist. They don't want to know Krishna. And then Prabhupada said, but better is the positive liberation. Positive liberation. The prisoner is in prison and he writes a letter to the king. He makes an appeal and says to the king, yeah, I'm in prison because I misbehaved. I'm very sorry of that. But from now on, I will follow your laws. I will abide by your laws. So please excuse me. So that appeal is going to the king. And Prabhupada said the king may say, okay, release him. But rather than saying that, he may inform the prison authorities and tell the prison authorities, look, this prisoner has made that appeal. You observe him. See how he's doing. So the prison authorities observe him and he's his behavior is exemplary. Because his behavior is exemplary, he gets a special treatment. And the prison authorities are using this exemplary prisoner as an example for the others. And say to the others, if you do the same thing, that behave in the same way, you will get the same treatment. But then after some time, the prisoner is behaving very well, and the prison authorities are informing the king that he's doing very well. And the king said, yes, that actually I need a good servant here in the palace. You please release him and send him to the palace. So Prabhupada said that's positive liberation. That from the prison to the palace. That we are in the prison of the material world and we go back to Krishna's Dham in the spiritual world. That's real liberation. But that requires a proper inner attitude. The first thing is, I'm here because of my own fault. I'm here, I got his body because I misbehaved towards Krishna. That's very important. If we don't have that inner attitude, then there's something wrong. Another instance I remember is that this is about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. He was the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, who started the Gaudiya Math. And one day he was working in his room. And outside his room, there some devotees were talking. And Maharaj came out and asked, what are you talking about? And the devotee said, oh, Guru Maharaj, I'm chanting now for such a long time, and I feel like I don't make real advancement. It's like I'm not advancing. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj said, that's very good. If you would think that you are advancing and have become a big devotee, that's not good. Of course, it means one who advances with advancing in the chanting of the holy name thinks himself the most fallen. But that's not something we can imitate. The devotee said to Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen. Prabhupada replied, you are not the most of anything. Because yes, it's just showing you are a great devotee. I'm the most fallen. But Prabhupada replied in different ways. Another time, another devotee said to Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen. And Prabhupada said, yes, and what are you going to do about it? So we must be practical. But this inner attitude of surrender and this humble attitude is very important. Without that appropriate attitude, the holy name will not show its power to us. The holy name is Krishna, and therefore it has all power. Nam Namakari Baudan Niya Sarva Saktis. Lord Chaitanya said, the Lord invested all his energies, all his power in the holy name. It's there. But to chant the holy name, the holy name, Krishna himself will only show his powers and purify your heart if you have the appropriate inner attitude. Very important that when Lord Chaitanya was with us 525 years now, something like that, ago, that it was 500 years ago, 1986, 14 and 25, 29, 529 years ago, Lord Chaitanya appeared. Yeah, that time is going on. That he appeared, that the power of the holy name, how can it manifest to us? Who was the spiritual master of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj? Any spiritual master? Please? Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the father of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. And he wrote a book or a manuscript called Harinam Chintamani. Someone knows it? Yeah. Harinam Chintamani is written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the form of a samvad, a dialogue between Lord Chaitanya and Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur got the title Namacharya, the Acharya of the chanting of the holy name, because he was chanting 3,300,000 of holy names every day. He needed for that 22 hours and a half. So he had 1.5 hours left for taking a little prasad and resting a bit. And then he started again. He was completely depending on the spiritual strength. But there, Lord Chaitanya is asking him about this power of the holy name and how it can manifest. And Haridas Thakur said there are 3 stages of the chanting of the holy name. Someone knows these stages? Where's the book? No. Namaparat, Namabas, and Sudanam. So Nam Aparat is we chant the holy name with offenses. Why are we making the offenses? Because we don't have the attitude of surrender. That we don't have that attitude. But Srila Haridas Thakur explains that more deeply. What is this attitude that is missing? So we have this Nama Parat. When we chant with offenses, the potency of the holy name is not going to manifest us before us. That it has an effect it has not that it doesn't has an effect, but it will only purify a few anarthas, unwanted desires from your heart. It will go very slow. You can chant many, many lifetimes like that. So as long as we are Nama-Bharat, then the potency does not appear. It's like the night. In the night, we cannot see things as they are. But the second stage is Nama-Bhas. Nama-Bhas is like daylight, but there is no sun, clouds, not a full sun. That is Nama-Bhas. Nama-Bhas, the purification of the heart starts, right? And the third stage of the holy name is Shuddhanam, the chanting of the pure name. When do we chant the pure name? When the heart is purified, totally purified. Can take 30, 40 years before all material desires are gone. And then we chant the pure name. So if we chant in Nama-Bharat with offenses, the chanting has not much effect. There's some effect because we continue chanting. There is still something. It's not like chanting Coca-Cola that we will get bored very quickly. But when we chant Nama-Bhas, what is the effect? Nama-Bhas, I already told it. Purify our heart, yes. Yeah. And when we chant in Shuddhanam, our heart is pure, but what is the effect of chanting the holy name in Shuddhanam? We develop love for Krishna. Then the development of spiritual love starts. Now the question is, of course, how do we come from Nama-Bharat to Nama-Bhas? That is an important question. What is the characteristic of someone who chants in Nama-Bhas, his inner attitude?
Less material desires, or maybe very, very less material desires.
Yeah, that's nice. But what does Haridas Thakur say? What does he say? He says, one who chants Nama-Bhas, is the first thing he says is a Kanishta Adhikar, a beginner. It means if we chant with offenses, according to Haridas Thakur, we are not yet a Kanishta Adhikar. We are not yet a beginner. Interesting. But that's what he says. There are other definitions of Kanishta Adhikar in the scriptures. But that is the opinion of Haridas Thakur or Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The second thing that he says is, one who chants in Nama-Bhas chants with knowledge of Sambandha Jnana. And that's the point. The inner attitude must be with Sambandha Jnana. Does not someone know what it means, Sambandha Jnana? Yes. Sambandha Jnana has these three elements. Who is Krishna? Who am I? And what is my relationship? So, who is Krishna? Ishvara, Sarva, Ishva Paramakrishna Sakshananda Vishya Anadirade Govinda Sarva Karuna Karana. Ishvara, Supreme Controller. He's the Supreme Controller. If we think ourselves the controller, are we chanting with someone again? No. Then is Paramakrishna, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If I think I'm Krishna, is that okay? No. So if you know Krishna is God, then I'm not. Who am I? That is Paramakrishna, Sakshidananda, is Sakshidananda, Sakshidananda, eternal, full knowledge and bliss. Is that our situation for the moment? Is this body eternal? Are we full of bliss? Sometimes when we are eating pizza, but I told that yesterday. It's very short. That no ananda, that no knowledge. We don't even know who we are. But we have to know who we are when we chant the holy name and behave as one from our spiritual position. That because if we are not chanting with Sambandhyan, we are not understanding that we are Shivera Srupa Hare Krishna Nityadas. If we don't understand we are parts of Krishna and therefore servants of Krishna, and have to develop service and love. That's our relationship with Krishna, devotional service, a relationship of love. That sometimes we make it very complicated. What is that? Relationship of love. Chanting with a relationship of love, Hare Krishna. How do we do that? Someone asked my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Charamaj, what does it mean chanting Hare Krishna? And his answer was very simple. He said, chanting Hare Krishna means saying to Krishna, I love you. So putting all our affection in chanting. Because devotional service has two aspects. Devotion and service. Service is external, but the devotion is the internal. So, what is most important, the internal or the external? So we are who? We are the spirit soul. The symptom of spirit soul is consciousness. We are factually the pure consciousness in this body. And that comes from the soul. The consciousness is out of the body, the soul is out of the body. Finished. So one devotee said to the other devotee, you were not there this morning in the Bhagavatam class. And the other devotee said, no, I was there. I was sitting at the back there. And the other devotee said, yes, I saw your body was there, but your mind was somewhere else. You were not listening to the Bhagavatam class. You were not there. So if we are chanting Hare Krishna and we don't concentrate on the hearing of the sound vibration, are we chanting? No. I remember in the beginning of the 90s, I was in Antwerp in Belgium. And I made a walk with my friend Dayal Nitai. Dayal Nitai, he was one of the first preachers in Taiwan. He was from Antwerp, but he learned Taiwanese. And he married at that time the first Prabhupada disciple in Taiwan. But in the morning, we made a japa walk. Someone makes sometimes japa walks here, sometimes. We made a japa walk, chanting 16 rounds. And at the end, he said to me, can you believe it? I chanted 16 rounds, but not one mantra I was thinking of Krishna. And that is our bewildered state. That we chant the holy name, but the mind wants to do something else. Wants to make our shopping list, or you have so many things to do. It's difficult to concentrate the mind. Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Someone read that book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? Yeah, Nectar of Devotion. Prabhupada said it's a very important book. This book is the manual of devotional service. Because it explains how to perform devotional service. And every devotee should know this book in and out. So good to read that book. In that book, I think the first Anasaktasya, Vishayan, Yuyanta, and so on. Rupa Goswami says the chanting of the holy name, because we have no taste of the chanting on the material platform. So it says with our material senses, we cannot not know who Krishna is. But when we use the tongue and render service with the tongue, it's a service, the chanting. Render service to chant the holy name, and we render that service to chant holy name. And it says also using the tongue to taste prasad, then the tongue will become purified and the senses will become purified. And gradually we get to know who Krishna is. So the chanting of the holy name is a service we render. And interesting is that when in Nectar of Devotion, the process of the devotional service is explained. I traveled 15 years with Prahladhananda Swami. Prahladhananda Maharaj, Prabhupada disciple, joined in 1968. And I was his servant for many years, many months I traveled with him. And he used to say to me, because he educated me in the preaching, trained me in the preaching, he said, you have to explain to the devotees that the devotional service is a process with stages. And devotees should know in what stage they are, and what the next stage is, and how to go to the next stage. Very important. So Rupa Goswami gives 9 stages, beginning from Shraddha to Prema. What does Shraddha mean? Faith. In the beginning you have some faith. You read Prabhupada's books of some, you start to read, you have some faith. And what's the next stage? Sadhu Sangha. You want to meet the devotees, and what do the devotees explain to you? Bhajana Kriya, how to perform devotional service. You get initiation, then you chant that, and gradually you come to chanting 16 rounds, following the regulated principles, and you become steady. In the beginning you are unsteady, anistita bhajana kriya, unsteady. Then you become nishta. Nishta bhajana kriya has nothing to do with the stage of nishta. Nothing. But it means your bhajan, your sadhana becomes steady. If your sadhana becomes steady, does your heart become purified? Not completely. What do you mean?
We start beginning of
Anartha nivritti runs longer period of time. So Anartha nivritti began, but you are steadily practicing, so Anartha are going slowly.
Does your heart become purified? That's my question. No. What do we need to do to come to Anartha nivritti? How do we know our heart becomes purified?
In all material, there is no material desire in the heart.
That's at the end of the process. After a few lifetimes, that may happen. But how do we know that we are in Anartha nivritti?
Our interest in material would get posed.
We are coming closer. More specific. How do you know? It's a very difficult thing. My heart becomes purified.
We get interested in devotion.
Coming closer. No, the answer is you get taste for chanting. Your taste increases. You want to chant more and more. Then you are in Anartha nivritti. Your attraction for the holy name increases. That if we don't have that, then still nama parat. So that has to be understood. That is what Haridas Thakur explains factually. So one can chant the holy name for a few years and still not be in Anartha nivritti. But usually Krishna in the beginning gives some special mercy. You have some taste in the beginning, but then you have to become serious. So taste increases. So how do we go from the nama parat to Anartha nivritti? Give up the apparat. Right? Therefore, Prabhupada wants us to recite these 10 offenses every day, that beginning when blaspheming devotees who are engaged in the preaching of the holy name, consider names like demigods, Lord Shiva, and so on, as equally independent of the name of Lord Vishnu, to disobey the order of the spiritual master, and so on. There are 10 offenses. These 10 offenses, what are these about? What is wrong in our heart? Haridas Thakur said, we make these offenses because we are not situated in Sambandha Jnana, in our position as a servant of Krishna. Why is that? Because we went to so many births, thinking ourselves the controller and the enjoyer. And we can give that up in a moment? No, that comes up again and again and again. And that's the problem. That we have to give it up. And that's not easy. So how can we give it up? Let's look at the third offense, because about how to increase the quality of your chanting, I wrote an entire book. They are editing it for the moment, and it will be printed in a few months. But it is mostly my research on this, how to improve our chanting, because this is our most important practice, how to do it. Like the third offense, Srila Prabhupada said, the third offense is Guru Avakya, because these 10 offenses, where do we find them? They are in the Padma Purana. in Ujjain temple in the morning, usually we started reciting that in Sanskrit first. That I forgot most, but Guru Abhaya I know. Prabhupada said that to his disciples, why am I translating these books? Why am I giving up my sleep in the night and translating these books? It's for you to read. If you don't read my books, Guru Abhaya. Interesting that now we don't have taste. How to get taste in the chanting? That in the Bhagavatam there is a verse, I call it a taste-giving verse. Someone knows the taste-giving verse? No? No. It's in the second chapter of the first canto. It's the verse before. Shoshoshadadanasya Vasevagataruchi Syanmat Sevyavipa Punyatirtam Nisheva. That this verse explains Sususho. You must hear with attention the Bhagavatam. That in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking. And what is the Bhagavatam about? It's about Krishna. If we hear about Krishna, then we get to understand Krishna's position. Because our attitude of being the controller is taking Krishna's attitude. We have to give it up. By hearing the Bhagavatam, we hear Krishna is the controller, not us. And then we hear these stories about all these devotees who become purified in various ways. Jad Bharat is purified in 3 lifetimes, right? That Dhruva Maharaj did it in 1 lifetime. Narada Muni also in his previous life. But by hearing the Bhagavatam, it changes our heart. It changes our heart, and gradually we come in this Sambandha Gyan, in the right position. Sambandha Gyan. So that is, but the verse says, Sushusho Shadadanasya. Shadadanasya. Shada is faith, but Prabhupada translates it different. It says, hearing the Bhagavatam with care and attention. Care and attention. If we hear the Bhagavatam with care and attention, and if we serve the Mahatma, the second part, engage in Srila Prabhupada's mission, serve the Mahatma, serve Srila Prabhupada's mission. He gave us ISKCON so that we can engage in his mission. That combination, hearing the Bhagavatam and engaging in the mission of Srila Prabhupada, the verse says, that gives taste. Taste. Our heart becomes purified. And that will help us with the chanting of the holy name in a proper inner attitude. So, all those who chant the holy name, please do also 2 other things. Every day you read Bhagavatam, even 1 verse or 1 purport, attending 1 Bhagavatam class, but do it every day. And do something for Prabhupada's mission. That can be a little thing, whatever you can do. And that combination gives taste. And Krishna says, when you get that taste of of being attracted to hearing about me, because taste means you want to chant more, but you want to hear more about Krishna. Krishna says, Shimvadas, Vakata Krishna, Punya, Shavana Krishna, Vidyanta, Toyavatani, Vidana, Suchitam. I form within the heart, Krishna says, I start to purify the heart. So that is essential. If we do that, then we come to the right inner attitude, which is described by Lord Chaitanya. Trinata Vishnishna Torah Vishnishna Manna Manadna Kirtanya Sadari Nadana Nadan Machunarim Kavdavachi Shikami Chamami Chamami Chamamishpari Barbhavta Bhaktara Haitritvari. And that is the inner attitude. If you have that inner attitude, then Anartha-nivritti will start. Being more humble on the grass in the street, more tolerant on a tree, devoid of all false prestige, give all honor to others. We don't want wealth, don't want relationship with the opposite sex, we don't want followers, we don't want liberation. We just want to serve Krishna out of love. If we have that attitude, that's pure devotional service. Then it will start. But Anartha-nivritti is a bit strange because you have these material desires. Because of these material desires, you don't have the proper inner attitude, which you don't have the proper sambandha, and it becomes like hopeless. It's like a vicious circle. But how to get out of this vicious circle is the mercy of the spiritual master. It's all question of mercy. On our own, we cannot make that. We need mercy. Therefore, we need to take initiation for the chanting to be potent. That the spiritual master gives the mercy. I explain this to end. I will explain it because this I can explain in many ways through different scriptures, and I will explain it in a second way, which may be familiar to most of you, and I will end with that. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tesham satatayuktanam bhajtam pitavavakam dadami buddhiyogam tam yenamam upayantite. Krishna says, if you serve me with a little love, pitavavakam, then dadami, I'm going to give you something. It gives you buddhiyogam. Buddhiyogam is, it gives you vijnan, gives you realized knowledge. This buddhiyogam, what it gives you, is explained in the next verse. Tesham evanakampatam amajnana chamtama nasijamat babavastu jnana dipanavashvata. He said, with the lamp of knowledge, I enter the heart of my devotee, and I burn away the ignorance, all these anarthas. But the problem is, Krishna says, Priti Purvakam, you must have a little love. But we don't know what spiritual love is. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Adi Lila, I think it's chapter 6 from verse 108. For many verses, he explains the difference between lust and love. That lust, he says, means trying to satisfy the senses of this body. Love means trying to satisfy the transcendental senses of Krishna. But we don't have, with all these anarthas in our heart, we don't have an idea what love is. How can we don't have even this Priti Purvakam, this little love. But how does it work? how can we then get this Dadami Buddhayogam Krishna gives us if we don't have love? Krishna made a special arrangement in Bhagavad Gita. He said, Dat vinipana partner pariprashna sivya production detechnam jnana stat production. You must approach a spiritual master, he says, that and serve him with humility, follow his instructions, inquire about spiritual life. And if you do that, then in the next verse, Krishna says, Yat yatvana punamam evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutna ashishani dakshasi atmati atomai. Then you start to see gradually, if you follow the instructions of the spiritual master, that all living entities are actually spirit souls. That Krishna is in the hearts of everybody. And you start to see the real person, the spirit soul, not the body. And you start to see that these are all parts of Krishna, and they belong to Krishna. Apsitas Pablo Sababyo Paketamam Sabagana Plaveni Vamfrichinam Santarshani. The next verse said, they are on the boat of transcendental knowledge, and you will cross over the ocean of material suffering. And then the next verse said, then your karma is burnt away. That's anartha nivriti, our karma, our material desires are all go away. So it's, in other words, we don't have this pretty provakam, this little love. But if we serve and follow the instructions of the spiritual master, Krishna accepts that as a little love, and he purifies our heart. So we need mercy to come to the pure chanting. And so we cannot get the mercy if we don't follow the instructions of the spiritual master. Who is the spiritual master? He's a representative of Krishna. There is a cooperation between the spiritual master and Krishna. If you follow his instructions, Krishna purifies your heart. So that is an introduction on the chanting of the holy name. And I think you have something to think about. And it's only the introduction. I would say next time I come, I give the next session, but not sure I will come back. That depends on my health, and so I have so many situations. We have 5 minutes for questions. Yes.
So Maharaj, you said how can we understand that we are at the stage of anartha? That depends on when we start feeling the liking for chanting. So does that mean like with Nama Bhas, the anartha nivritti starts? Is it the thing or?
Nama Bhas and anartha nivritti is the same. No difference. That's the same. That and Sudanam starts from after anartha nivritti, from Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. These are the stages of the development of love afterwards. That's the same anartha nivritti.
What happens, Maharaj, like, because still we are not in anartha nivritti also now. Like we recently got to know at least myself was so much illusion that the thing is at least we are in it's a long phase, but now getting to know that okay, we are not even there. We are still in unsteady bhajana kriya only, not in a steady. So in that case, Maharaj, because so many material desires are inside and graph in the like surveys or anything that goes up and down, upside down. So how can we make it more steady? Because definitely the mercy of Guru is needed, but any practical tips, Maharaj, you can share on day-to-day basis apart from listening to Srimad Bhagavatam?
Well, to learn this Sambandha Jnana, we can learn it in different ways. Prabhupada explains first class learning, second class learning, third class learning. That first class is, I hear stealing is bad. Okay, I will not do it. So that's first class. First class, we are the Bhagavatam, we become very serious and we learn by following the process, engaging in the mission of the spiritual master and hearing the Bhagavatam and trying to chant without offenses. That's first class. Second class learning is, I hear stealing is bad, but I still have the tendency to steal. And I will only stop if I see someone arrested. So this is that's second class. Third class is, I see stealing is bad. I see someone arrested, but I still want to steal. I will only stop when I'm myself arrested. That from the moment we start to chant Krishna's name, even with offenses, we are connected with Krishna. And Krishna will take care of us. But he advises us to take the first class. The third class, the second class is not good. The third class also not. Krishna speaks about the third class in Bhagavatam 1088.8. 1088.8, he explains when you can see that a devotee gets his mercy. Krishna says, I give my mercy to a devotee that when I take everything away what he's attached to. And Krishna will do that, but it's the hard way of learning. It's the hard way. Krishna will organize your life, and he sees my devotee is too weak to give up this attachment. And then, if the devotee is sincere, Krishna takes away what one is attached to. It's like a child. The mother has already 4 times told and said to the child, 3 times, you have to come for dinner. But the child said, no, I want to play. And the 4th time, the mother comes and takes the toy away. And the child starts to cry. But it has to come, take dinner. And that is Krishna. If you get his mercy, it takes everything away. That happened in my life. Otherwise, I would not be here. And that was Krishna's mercy. I don't want to tell the story. But at the moment itself, it's fearful that, but later you understand this is Krishna's mercy. He plucked me out of a very material entangled situation and put me straight in the association of devotees. That was his kindness. He did that also with Prabhupada, but not for this reason. Prabhupada was not attached. That's another reason. It's different. But it took also everything away. Anyway, for a pure devotee, taking something away, he knows everything belongs to Krishna. That's all right. So yeah, does that help? Understand? Okay. I'm also trying to learn all these lessons. I remember in 2010, I was in serious difficulty. Bhakti Maharaj said to me, whatever happens in your life, good or bad, accept it as the mercy of God. Krishna. That is a lesson we all have to learn. That because Ananya Sintyantaram Yechna Prayavasite Samnitya Vyuktam Yoga Sena Ramyam. Krishna takes care of his devotees. He gives everything what they need to make spiritual advancement and protects their spiritual advancement. If we start devotional service, it never goes in vain. The benefit is eternal. There is no diminution. Krishna says, Nami Bhaktyam Parachati. My devotee never perishes. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Nami Bhaktyam Parachati. My devotee never perishes. One of the commentators on the Bhagavad Gita, Baladev Vidyabhushan, puts verses between the other verses. So Krishna says, Nami Bhaktya Parachati. Oh, Arjuna, declare it boldly that my devotee will never perish. And Arjuna is asking, oh Krishna, why you are asking me to do that? Why are you not doing it yourself? And Krishna says, I'm from Mathura, and those from Mathura they are known as cheaters. But then Krishna says, but they will never cheat whom they love. And that's a big lesson. If we don't love Krishna, if we don't develop our connection with Krishna, we will be cheated by the illusory energy, Maya. It's our choice. But when we connect with Krishna, even we try to connect, even with apparat or whatever, and we continue chanting, finally, the holy name will be merciful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for giving this hope.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Good. So, I done my job.